man. Something's gotta give with this mess, man. Look at all this mess on my head. It's time for me to do something about this corona hair. It's time for some kind of quarantine cut. I gotta do something with it. Oh man, it's simple. Just get your clippers out, edge up a little bit right here, cut the back up, blend it all in, and you'll be straight. That's a good idea. I can go. I can do that. I got a set of clippers. I think I can do it. Buzz it. Just shave it all off, man. I'm positive your wife is gonna love it. Just buzz it. Buzz it all off. What do you think I should do? I think I just had a conversation with myself. I have been in quarantine far too long. Welcome to the My Life Matters show. Today's game you can play at home is cup flip tic-tac-toe. On the table is a tic-tac-toe board. You put a cup down, you'll flip it. Once it lands, you can take it and put it anywhere on the board that you want to go. You don't have to take turns. The faster you flip your cup, the faster you can put them on the board. Your mark, get set, go!
No other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol. You shall not take the Lord's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath, keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. Do not murder, do not commit adultery. Do not steal, lie, or covet.
Hey guys, we have really missed you. We have missed seeing you at club. We've missed hanging out with you and playing games. This is about what we can do right now. We're making these videos. I hope you guys have been watching. So we miss playing games, but you know, there's this one part that I know you guys miss. That's when we go over the rules. So let's just go over them real quick. Let me just see if you guys remember them. I bet you do. So the first one is when we speak, you listen. Exactly. You guys are remembering already. When we command you, do what? Obey. Exactly. When you come, you stay. No fighting, cussing, or stealing. I know you guys remember these, but why do we give you these rules? This is a little bit about what our story is going to be about today. So, you know, God gives us rules. He gives us commandments. There's statutes. There's all of these mean the same thing. This is what God's telling us He wants us to do and things that He doesn't want us to do. His expectations. It's just the same reason why we give you guys rules at club. If we didn't, then we wouldn't be able to have a fun, safe time where we can learn about God because, you know, who knows what we'd be doing. But it's always good to know what you're expected, right? What people expect of you. So that's why God gave us the 10 Commandments. We're talking about how God gave us our first set of rules, the 10 Commandments. Now, He did this through Moses. Now, we're talking about what this story happens in the book of Exodus. And now, in Exodus chapter 14 or so, God delivers all of His people out of Egypt, where the Pharaoh was keeping them in slavery and just treating them badly. And He led them away from the Pharaoh, and the army was chasing after them, and they get to this giant ocean or the Red Sea, and the Lord just parts it, and they walk right through on the bottom of the ocean. And when they all get to the other side, guess what happens? The Pharaoh's army was right behind them, and they're running through the ocean floor where God had parted it. And when all of the Israelites were safe on the other side, He just closed it back in on them. They were amazed.
Wow! Did you see that? That was crazy. God just opened the sea for us and then closed it on our enemy.
Right. Did you see how amazed they were? They couldn't believe this had happened. But, they were God's chosen people. So they knew that Moses was talking to God, or God was talking to Moses, and then letting the Israelites know what the Lord wanted them to know. So they followed Moses. They went into the wilderness. For many days and nights, they went without food and they went without water. And each time this would happen, they would get frustrated and they would whine and they would complain. Not that, we ever do that, but we do kind of. Like we complain and we think, oh, these things are going terrible. And that's what they were doing. And they didn't trust that God was going to take care of them. They just thought, man, he's just let us out of here, out of slavery, and just brought us out here to die. He's just going to let us go thirsty. He's going to let us starve. But that's not what God was doing. Each time he proved to them, when he provided water for their thirst, when he provided food for when they were hungry, when they were attacked by another group of people, he protected them and he delivered them from them and saved them. And God did this because he loved them. Now, they traveled through the wilderness, like I said, they go through the desert, then they get to somewhere called Mount Sinai. Now, God has called Moses to come up, and he wanted to tell him why he saved the people of Israel and why he wanted them to come with him and what is it they're meant for. So he draws them up there to explain, but all the Israelites had to stay at the bottom of the mountain, and they weren't allowed at that point to be in proximity to the Lord. They couldn't come into the altar and worship him yet. Now, so what they did through Moses. And so when they had questions or they wondered what was going on, they had to go through Moses. So anyway, God calls Moses up to the top of the mountain and he tells him that, I pulled these people out of Israel because I wanted them to know that they're my chosen people. They are the holy ones. They are the ones that I want to be who I want them to follow these specific rules. I want them to know how much I love them, but I also want them to know that, there's my expectations. So he has these commandments, the 10 commandments. These are the rules that, or the commandments that God gave us from the beginning for us to know how he expects us to behave, how he expects us to worship him, and the things that we are just not to do, and the things that we are to do. So he takes these first 10 commandments and he writes them on these giant stone tablets with his very own finger. And he calls Moses. He says, these are the ones I want you to share with them. This is how I want them to behave. This is how I want them to treat each other. This is how I want them to love each other. And these are the things they have to do that. Now, I'm going to tell you all these commandments. We're going to start out with number 1. Number 1 is God is number 1. He is always number 1. Now, you might think that there are times when we can put our parents above God, or our spouse above God, or our sister or brother, or anything. But no, God is always number 1. He does not want to be anything less than that. And if you love him and you want to worship him and be in a relationship with him, he's always number 1. Number 2, thou shalt not worship any other idols before me. God is jealous. He doesn't want you worshiping anything else besides him. He comes first. Now, worshiping something else could be more than just an idol. It could also be something that you put before God, like...
Stop! Oh my!
Number 3, never take the Lord's name in vain. Always watch what comes out of your mouth. Oh, I didn't even see you guys there. Remember that rule number 4 is to keep the Sabbath holy, because God rested, so he wants us to rest. And so what I like to do on the Sabbath is I like to spend time in God's Word, reading the Scriptures. What did you say to me?
What? Ah! Girls, stop! Stop the fighting!
Yes, ma'am.
Number 5, remember to honor your mother and father.
I'm gonna kill you.
Hey, stop! Thou shalt not murder.
Okay, commandment number 7 is do not commit adultery. And what does this mean? This means when a man and a woman get married, it's just that man and woman. They don't have anybody else. They have each other. That's how God meant it.
Hey, the 7th commandment says thou shalt not steal. Did you hear that Michaela cheated on that test in history today?
What, she did?
Yeah, I know.
No way.
Hey, that is not true. You're a liar. And the 9th commandment says do not lie.
Mary, I really want Michaela's new iPhone. Mine is so old.
Grace, you know the 10th commandment says that you're not supposed to covet your neighbor.
What does that mean?
It means don't be jealous of what other people have.
Oh, okay.
Just be happy with what God's given you.
Oh, that makes sense.
So there you go. Those were all the 10 commandments, the ones that Moses gave the Israelites, that the Lord gave him. There's a lot. Some of the little skits where we're describing the or telling you what these commandments are. They're a little silly, and then they're meant to get your attention, help you remember. But God, the commandments that He gave is very serious, and I hope that you can take some time to do the devotional and learn more about these commandments. If you want to read about it in the Bible, it's in Exodus 20. And God says, I called you out of Egypt. I saved you from slavery. You are my people. Here are your commandments. And that's the commandments we follow today. Oh, I'm praying for you guys. I miss you. I just look forward to the day we can see each other again. And, I'll just know that I love you, and all of us at My Life Matters miss you and love you. Take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.
During this time where we can't hang out, we still want to hear from you. So write us a letter, and we promise we will write you back. The first time you write us, we'll include one of these awesome The My Life Matters Show sticker.
Thanks for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button down below. Come back next week for the next episode.